it's time for a praise party. I need all y'all to put your hands together like this. Woo! Now this song we're going to decree tonight that we are victorious. We are the head and not the tail. We are above and not beneath. Why? Because we are the winners. We are God's righteousness. Whoa! That may come, though the weapons may form, they will not prosper. The battle is already won. We have the victory. Every trial that may come, though the weapons may form, they will not prosper. The battle is already won. We have the victory. Everybody, clap your voice, say, I am. You know, coming through him. I am. If you're victorious, make some noise. If you're victorious, make some noise. Every issue you may face, Christ has paid the price for you. That's how I pray. We have a victory. Everybody clap your hands like this. Come on, come on. Right here we're going to decree and declare that we are the head and not the tail. We are above and not beneath. We are the lender and not the borrower. Amen. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I win. Can y'all help me say, I am the head. I after me. Say, oh, I am a winner. 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 I am a winner. Say, I am a winner. Say, yeah, yeah. I am a winner. Say, I win. I win.
I want y'all to help us. Come on, rise to your feet. I've got evidence. Say it. I've got it. I've got confidence. I'm a conqueror. I know that I win. I know who I am. God wrote it in his plan. Yeah, yeah. My name is Victory.
My name is Victory.
Can y'all clap your hands? Come on, help me say. God gave me
Authority
to conquer the
enemy.
He wrote in my
Destiny.
that my name is.
Victory.
He said that I've overcome. I know I'm already won. He wrote in my
Destiny.
that my name is.
Victory.
I know, say it. I know who I am. God wrote it in his plan. For me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say it, say it.
tell you that what's in front of you is bigger than what's behind you. Your destiny, your promise, your future. You might as well shout before you get it, because God sent me here to tell you that what he has for you is gonna be big.
I believe
That it's my season.
that it's my season.
You ought to declare that over your own life. Say, I believe
I believe
that it's my time.
that it's my time.
It's my time.
It's my time.
And I can feel it.
I can feel it.
Say, breakthroughs in the room.
Breakthroughs in the room.
It's yours if you want it. Anticipating.
Anticipating.
God's getting ready to move.
God's getting ready to move.
Listen, you ought to declare this over your own life. Say it.
For I know
God,
my God
he's working
is
a miracle
miracle
just for me.
just for me.
And it's gonna be.
And it's gonna be big.
Hey! Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about my future. Why? It's gonna be big, yeah!
And it's gonna be big.
I'm running into destiny, shouting into my promise. Why? God's gonna.
God's gonna open the windows of heaven.
Oh,
Pour me out a blessing.
I won't have room.
Be room to contain it.
Can't even try to explain it.
But it's gonna be big.
God is gonna blow your mind.
God is about to blow my mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. God's gonna.
Open the windows of heaven.
Oh,
Pour me out a
you
blessing.
won't have room.
Be room to contain it. Won't even try to explain it.
Why?
But it's gonna be big.
God is about to blow your mind.
God is about to blow my mind.
Hey, and it's gonna be.
Big,
It's gonna be.
big,
It's gonna be big. It's gotta be big. Lord, let it be. Hey, my future is big. My destiny's big. My blessing is big. My promise is big. The new job will be big. My future is big. Lord, let it be big. And it's gonna be. Hey, God is about to blow your mind.
blow my mind.
God's gonna.
God's gonna open the windows of heaven.
He's gonna pour.
Pour me out a blessing.
I won't have room.
Won't be room to contain it. Won't even try to explain it.
Why?
But it's gonna be big.
God's about to blow your mind.
God is about to blow my mind.
God bless you. It's gonna be.
And it's gonna be big.
Amen. Well, welcome everyone to Birmingham Bible Church's Winning Wednesday. This is where we are every Wednesday at 12 noon. Man, that music had me pumped up. I know it did too, for you as well, because that is just a reminder that we have the victory and that our future is going to be big. Everything around us is going to be big. We're going to have a bigger future, bigger promise, bigger promotion. And so, of course, that last song was by local artist PMJ, Pastor PMJ. And so go out and download that on today. But this is where we are every Wednesday, declaring that we are all winners. And of course, we always bring guests during this time to help us to win in some area in our lives. And so somewhere along the way, they also empower us, they encourage us, they encourage our hearts in such a mighty way, and they educate us in some form or fashion. So please do us a favor. We need you to share this broadcast. If you're at work, tap somebody on the shoulder. Hope you're on lunch break. And you're not doing this during the clock, but listen, get the news out. Text somebody, tell somebody about Winning Wednesday on today. And so this has been a great month. Only the third week of Winning Wednesday. This entire month is National Preparedness Month. And so all month long, right here on Winning Wednesday, we have been learning just how to be prepared in some area of our lives. The first week we had Nikki Ivory, she talked about how we can be prepared during natural disasters. Then last week we had Martha Underwood of GeoPrism talked about how we can store our documents digitally. And that was a great segment, y'all. No more putting them in file cabinets and under the mattress. And, then when something happens, your loved ones got to kind of flip through stuff and wonder where you put it. It's all digital, and then you can send different ones the link, and they can do a password. It's awesome. So make sure you go back and look at that one on last week, because the reality is that people get sick. And sometimes unexpectedly. People at times die unexpectedly. If COVID didn't teach us anything, it taught us that. And so I said on last week that either we are leaving here one or two ways. Either it is going to be by death, or we're going to be raptured up when Jesus comes back. And so we don't know which path we're going to take. So if we're going to die, we need to make sure that our loved ones are being prepared, making sure if you want a funeral, making sure there's enough money in that policy for the funeral. If you want to leave your grandchildren something, your children something, that's what we're going to talk about on today. We're going to talk about how we're going to get life insurance, the importance of it. And we have a very familiar face, Miss Tenesha Felton. She is awesome. She's awesome. Her presentation is always on point. She is going to share with you why this is important, how you can connect with her so that you can make sure that your affairs are in order. And so I welcome to everyone, Tenesha Felton. Hey, Tenesha, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, doing great. Thank you for coming on here and making sure we have life insurance. It's so important, and people don't realize it till something happens and they're like, oh, I need money. And maybe they're trying to, raise monies or whatever for different things that they need. And so I'm glad that you're going to help us really be equipped, get our listeners equipped for the future. So we appreciate this. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pam, for that awesome introduction. And thank you for always supporting me as I continue to get in front of as many people as I can to talk about the importance of life insurance. Okay. I have with me today one of my partners, Ms. Tara Ray. She's here. I'm gonna turn the camera to her so she can say hello to you. And so she's going to be helping me deliver this message today. Okay. So to tell you a little bit about who I am, my name is Tenesha Felton. I have over 10 years or so in the insurance industry. So I have pretty much seen people come into life insurance. I've seen people let their life insurances go, and I've had to do the unimaginable, tell families that their loved one is not covered when they need it most, and that's when their loved one has passed. So I have made it my mission in my business to educate individuals on, number one, the importance of life insurance and how to utilize life insurance. Okay. So today I'm going to be bringing to your attention about an awesome program called Lincoln Heritage. It's a insurance company called Lincoln Heritage that I am an agent with, and the awesome Funeral Advantage program that we have here at Lincoln Heritage, and how this can be of great service to you. Okay. So before I get started, I always like to define the topic that I'm talking about, because I find that so many people don't know what life insurance is. Okay. And they don't know the different types of life insurance. So I'm going to take a minute to talk about that, and then I will pull up my slide and we'll talk about Lincoln Heritage. Okay. So let's start off with defining what life insurance is in and of itself. Okay. Life insurance is a contract between you and the insurance company. Okay. It's a contract or agreement. All right. That agreement is that once you are approved for your policy, the agreement is that the insurance company is going to pay your beneficiary a set amount of money at the time of your passing. Your agreement with the insurance company is that at the time of approval, you're going to be honest in your application. You're going to also pay your premiums on time and every month, and you're going to keep your insurance in good standings with the insurance company. That is it in a nutshell. It is an agreement between you and that insurance company. Okay. Now, the why behind why we should get life insurance is quite simple. We want to make sure that the loved ones that we leave behind are protected. So many families are ruined because we have not taken the time beforehand to plan for our departure. Many people, I cannot tell you how many times I hear people say, oh, I'm going to live forever. I know I got about 20 more years in me, okay? But we know that nobody except for God knows when that time is and that day is, okay? So because we do not know when, we need to be prepared, right? So how do we get prepared for the purchasing of a life insurance? There's two ways to do that, okay? The first way is to understand your why for purchasing your life insurance policy. You need to know why you're getting it, okay? Now, the second thing is to know the amount that you need. Okay. Many of you, if you're on here and you've heard me speak before, you know, I talk about understanding your why and understanding the amount. Once you have identified why you need that policy, then there is a dollar amount that is attached to that policy amount. Okay. Once you answer those two questions, that will easily guide you. That will easily guide you to the correct insurance company. Okay. And you also need to know your budget, what you can afford. All right. This will keep you in good standings with your life insurance company. Okay. So that means that you're not going to get something that you can't afford because you've thought about the why and you thought about how much it's going to cost you. Okay. You're going to get what fits into your budget. All right. That's going to keep your policy in good standing. That's going to keep you from losing your policy. Okay, so I'm gonna get on my soapbox a little bit before I go into my presentation because I think we all need to hear it because some people are guilty of this. Okay, we want to get these huge astronomical policies that cost us hundreds of dollars when our budget is only set for $50. Okay, so if your budget can only hold $50, then you need to get the policy that fits your budget because understand that with life insurance, that's one of the beauties of life insurance. You can modify it. You can change your life insurance policy, meaning that you can increase it at any given time. Okay. As your life dictates an increase, then you need to get the increase if you can afford it. Okay. All right. So now there are two major types of life insurance. Okay. Two major types of life insurance. The first one is term. Okay, so term is exactly what it says. It goes for a specified amount of time. It does not go beyond that time. Okay, so I kind of explain term to people like this. Term is a plan A while you're working on a plan B. It is not designed to go through your whole life. So you cannot buy a term and turn it into a whole life policy. It's not going to do that. It is for a specified amount of time and it's not going to go past that time. Okay. Now, what you can be working on while you have a term policy is your debt. Okay. And we've talked about that. If you've been on here before with me, we've talked about debt management. We've talked about the importance of savings. Okay. So you can be working on your debt with that term policy, but understand that when you purchase a term life policy, this is how a lot of elderly people end up without life insurance that have term because they get the policy and they don't look at it anymore. Okay. You cannot do that with term. If it's for 25 years or 10 years, at that 10th year or that 25th year, the policy is going to go away. Now, here's another thing that a lot of people don't understand about term is that if you decide that you want to do what's called renewing the policy or starting it over, you are going to be submitted an application based on what's going on with you at that particular time. So what does that mean? That means when you got that policy 20 years ago, you were 20 years younger. Okay. You probably didn't have any health issues. You may not have had any kids. So your payment on that policy is very low. Okay. You were able to get a lot more insurance at a cheaper rate because you are younger. All right. Now, let's fast forward 20 years later. You're 20 years older now. You have health issues now. So they are going to look at your application based on what's going on with you now. And what you need to understand is just because you was approved 20 years ago does not guarantee approval 20 years later. Okay. Because if you have diabetes or stuff like that, most insurance companies are not going to cover you. All right. Now, let's talk about whole. And while we're doing that, I'm going to pull up my brochure because I want to talk to you all about Lincoln Heritage, which is who I'm here to represent today. And what we offer, I'm going to talk about what we offer and how what we do can be a benefit to you. Can you see my screen, Miss Pam?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right. So now, whole life is exactly what it says. It goes through your whole life. All right. So that's exactly what it does. All right. It goes all the way up to age 100. Okay. All right. So now the beauty about whole life is that you don't have to worry about renewing it like you do with term. You don't have to worry about your coverage decreasing like you may have to do with term. You don't have to worry about when you get 75, 80 years old, paying astronomical prices, okay? Because when you get a whole life policy on a level, on a level, that means it's the same. It's going to remain the same. It's going to remain the same throughout the life of that policy, okay? And another perk to it is that it builds cash value, all right? So cash value is something that you can utilize, for unexpected expenses, okay? Now, before I get started, people purchase life insurance for many different reasons, okay? But the most important reason that you want to make sure that you are purchasing your life insurance for is to make sure that you have enough to bury you, okay? All right. So now that brings me into what I'm here to talk to you about today, and that is Lincoln Heritage, okay? Now, with Lincoln Heritage, we are the #1 final expense insurance program in the nation. We are a whole life level benefit insurance program, okay? So now let me give you some facts about Lincoln Heritage here, all right? Lincoln Heritage is one of the nation's leaders in helping people cover their funeral costs and other final expenses. Here are some perks to what we do. These are facts, all right? Benefits are paid within 24 hours of claim approval. Most life insurance companies, once a claim is done, it goes through the process and it takes you 7 days or more to get your claim checked, sometimes 30 days, okay? I've had clients that it took over 30 days to get paid. With us, we're going to pay your beneficiary within 24 hours of the claim being approved and of us being notified of receiving official notice, of you passing, all right? Now, with our whole life benefit, you can get up to, now this is the word, up to, okay, $35,000 in coverage. So don't take this and say, well, Miss Tenesha said I can get $35,000 in coverage across the board. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, it is up to $35,000 in coverage. The amount that you are approved for will be determined through your application process, okay? All right, and now this is another perk, and this is something that a lot of people don't know about Lincoln Heritage is this. We pay up to 50% of your death benefits upon diagnosis of terminal illness on qualified plans, okay? All right. And with that terminal illness, if you're deemed to have 12 months or less of years left on your life, you can go in and borrow up to 50% of your coverage to take care of hospital expenses, to pay bills on those things while you are sick. Okay. And you're not borrowing that. That's part of your policy, and sometimes you have to. Yeah. So say, for instance, if you had $10,000 in coverage, they would advance you 50% of that to be able to cover some unexpected expenses. Okay. And then we'll pay the other $5,000 at the time of death. Okay. All right. So now One thing about Lincoln Heritage is this, okay? And a lot of people like this. We don't do medical exams. You don't have to do a medical exam to apply with us, all right? We don't do the height and weight chart or anything like that. We do ask you a few health questions on the application, okay? We have to do that to see what plans you qualify for. All right. So when you come in and you apply for coverage with us, your agent is going to ask you some questions, and all of that is to get you qualified for the plans that we have to offer you. All right. Our application process is very simple. It's a one-page questionnaire that we complete with you. Okay. And most people qualify for coverage, even with health issues. Okay. I had a lady that asked me the other day, I qualify even with diabetes. Yes, you do. Okay. I qualify even with high blood pressure. Yes, you do. Okay. So that's a beauty, especially in our elderly community. That is something that's very important for them to know. Now, our rates and benefits are locked in for the life of the policy. I cannot rest that anymore. That you do not have to worry about when you get a policy with Lincoln Heritage, your premiums doing the roller coaster, going up and down. You don't know what to expect from one year to the next. It is level. It's going to remain the same throughout the life of that policy. All right. Now, we also have up to $100,000 worth of additional benefits for accidental death that's also available to you that you can add on to your policy. Okay. So now down here at the bottom, we have what's called our accidental death and dismemberment cash benefit enhancement. These are rider things. Rider things that you can add to your policy. Of course, they do cost a little extra, but it's not that much extra. Let me show you. All right. Now, for our basic plan, you can pay as low as $1 and get up to an additional $20,000 added on to your life insurance. All right. And it covers these things over here. All right. Or you can go with our deluxe plan and pay as low as $5 a month with this coverage and get up to $100,000 worth of extra coverage onto your policy. Okay. All right. So it doesn't cost you a lot to make sure that you are secure if something were to happen to you. Okay. All right. So now this is the mecca of Lincoln Heritage, our funeral advantage program, where this is where you will have your personal funeral advisor. Okay. And they will provide this service to you. Okay. Now, on this side of you planning, which is the beforehand, you will have an opportunity with Lincoln Heritage to plan out your funeral. Okay, you can write it out. You can choose what type of casket you have. You're in control of how you want your funeral to be planned out. And what the funeral advisor services will do, their job is to make sure that your final wishes are carried out. They will, at the time of death, they will then get with family members, whoever your beneficiary is, and they will make sure that your family is not taken advantage of, that that they are getting the best cost for items associated with your with your funeral. It actually takes the burden off of your family for planning your funeral or trying to decide, what type of casket to get. How much does this cost? Their role is to walk alongside the family members and communicate with the funeral homes on the prices of these things. Their whole purpose is to make sure that families are not taken advantage of in their time of need. All right. So now, how does this work? When you get a policy with Lincoln Heritage, you're going to complete what's called my final wishes profile. All right. And you're going to return it in the postage paid envelope that's going to be sent to you. So when you get that profile, fill it out and then send it back in. Okay. All right. Now, you can change or update your final wishes at any given time. Okay. You would just call your funeral advisor and they will help you, your personal funeral advisor, and they will help you with that. Now, later, when at the time of death, They are going to walk alongside the family, like I said before, and help your loved ones get faster access to your insurance benefits. And they're going to walk alongside you to make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. With this service being attached to your policy, they can save families on an average of $1,850 on traditional funerals and up to $1,100 on cremation services. Okay. All right. And so the beauty about this is that this service is free to Lincoln Heritage clients. Okay. We are the only life insurance company out here that offers this service. Okay. All right. And it brings a lot of value to your policy. All right. So now we have families that have given testimonies on this Funeral Advantage program, and they do it daily. Okay. And we receive these letters into Lincoln Heritage on a daily basis on how pleased they are with this Funeral Advantage services. Okay. So now that's pretty much how we work at Lincoln Heritage. I know I gave you a lot of information and everything, and we work with individuals from a diverse income basis. So we work with everyone. All right. So I don't want you to think that you can't do business with Lincoln Heritage because you have specific health issues. Don't let that stop you from getting insurance. Okay. We cover individuals with health issues, and also about 99% of people who apply with us get coverage. They're able to get coverage with Lincoln Heritage. Okay. All right. All right. So now Miss Pam has placed my website in the chat box. And so I'm going to turn it over to you guys to see if you have any questions. This is the time for Q&A.
This is good. Especially, because if someone, let's say, was, had diabetes as a young person, then it's hard to get, life insurance. So I like the fact that there's no medical exam, that the rate is locked. Let me ask you, and this is just insurance question wise, if you have a term policy at the very end, what should someone do? Is there anything you can do besides let it go away?
There are certain things that you can do that can help you with the term policy. But at the end of the day, even with this stuff, it all comes down to planning. Okay. You can, the word is being proactive. Okay. All right. Because not every policy is for everybody. Okay. So, you have to be proactive with all of your life insurance policies, even term. Okay. Because it's going to end. All right. So, to answer your question, Miss Pam, to just make sure I stay on task with you, it's really not much you can do when the policy is coming to term. It's really not. Okay, because you're going to be hit with the higher premium because it's going to go up. Okay, because remember, it's based off what's going on with you at that particular age. Okay. And majority of people that get these term policies, when it comes to term, they're generally in their 70s and 80s. And they're on a fixed budget. So of course, that policy is going to go away because they can't afford it. Okay. And and after a certain age, especially with majority of these term companies, they stop at age 70. So if you're 75, you can't apply for additional coverage anyways. So you end up losing all your money that you paid into that term policy because it's just protection.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you can say this or not. So whole life seems like the best route to go. That's what it seems like to me.
Yes, with Lincoln Heritage, yes.
Lincoln Heritage it is, okay. Exactly.
And so, Miss Pam, I always tell people this. I don't knock any insurance because not everything is for everybody, okay? But I do tell people to do your research. Do your research and know your why, and know why you're getting it, and know the amount that you need.
Yeah.
And your budget.
And your budget. Yeah, exactly. And so let's say I contact you and I get signed up. And so my funeral advisor, we're sitting down and talking. And so I guess within the policy, if I decide, hey, this is what I want to spend on my funeral, this is what I want to go to my children, is that the time to do that? Is that what the funeral advisor does? Or does the funeral advisor just advise you on your final wishes for the funeral services?
All right, so your agent is the most important person that you're going to work with in that, okay?
Okay.
And so how we do it, I'm a okay, all right. So I'm gonna turn it over to my partner,
Yeah,
Miss
there we
Tara.
go.
You know,
Hey, Tara.
look, I'm hogging the screen. I'm sorry.
Hello, hello, how are
Hi.
you?
I'm
I
good.
am
I'm
Tara
good.
Ray. All
Tara.
right, this was so informative.
Yeah.
Ms. Tenesha did an amazing job just trying to explain how the program works. It's really an amazing program. It's more than just a policy. Like you said, it's a burial assistance program, and you were asking the question of how does it work with your personal funeral advisor? Is
Yeah.
that what the question that you were
Yes,
wanting to
ma'am.
know? So
Yes.
when you get your policies in the mail, right, you're going to get a final wishes. And what happens is when you get that final wishes, it's good. When you get your final wishes, you're going to make sure that you fill it out, right? Because this kind of activates that free program. Now, if you need someone to walk you through it, then of course the first line of defense would be your agent, right? Because we can actually either over the phone, if you're local near us, we can even come out and help you fill that out. Now, also, you'll get some membership cards in the mail as well. And it would look like this. This is really the final wishes that comes with the policy. It's very easy, giving a lot of personal information. Which one of your loved ones you're going to trust with this? Who's your beneficiary? How do you want to be buried? It's really a pre-planning guide for the funeral. Everything that you would sit in front of that funeral director and ask your family have to go through that. This is everything already there to kind of take that burden off of planning your funeral. And what we do is we share that information with your family, with your loved ones. We also share with the funeral home. So when they get there, basically everything is already in place, right? But as far as the funeral advisor goes, you're also going to get some ID cards in the mail with your pre-planning program. This is what you're going to give to your beneficiary, right? It's going to have all of your information on there. In the event of your passing, what they do, they would call this 1866 number on the card, and they will assign the funeral advisor to them at that point. And they actually will assist them from the time of your passing to the time the process is over. Now, if you need to call them with any questions, even before passing, you as a member of the program can call them. They can have information about funeral homes. A lot of family members, they may not know what funeral home they want to use. So that means when you pass away, your family has to make all these phone calls to try to figure out which funeral home, what the Funeral Advantage program does. And the advisor would do within about 20 minutes after you pass, you call them and say, hey, my mom died. They'll actually have about 3 or 4 funeral homes in the area. They'll get the pricing for you. They send that information over to you. They also will get the base price. And, each funeral home has a general price list, right? I actually just had one of my clients, their mom passed. The funeral home was they knew what funeral home they wanted to go to. So before they went to the funeral home, the advisor called the funeral home, got some basic prices for the family, informed the daughter, hey, the funeral home, their basic price for just the basic funeral is about $6,200. The daughter got, and they said, so these are some things you need to ask them. They kind of prep them so these like you said, the funeral homes and these funeral directors don't take advantage of them, right? So they got to the funeral home, and the funeral director, that funeral went from 6,200 to 14,000.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And so what they would do, they were prepared for that because the funeral director had already actually prepared them for that, right? So not only do they do that, they were able to take a picture of that contract before signing, take a picture of it, send it to their advisor. The advisor is able to look over that. The funeral home was charging them about $4,000 for the casket. The funeral advisor, we were able to find that same casket for $1,200. They were charging them $2,300 for a vault. We were able to find that same vault for $900. We got those things reduced for the family, saved them thousands off the cost of the funeral right then and there before signing that contract. Now, that's going to be the key to get with your funeral advisor to make sure you do, because once you sign that contract, there's nothing that we can really do after that, because that's a binding contract with you and the funeral home. But you have that line of defense there with the Lincoln Heritage advisor, the Funeral Advantage program, to make sure that those things don't happen. They were charging them $1,000 for the limousine. They end up reducing that to $300 once the advisor got on the phone with them, talked them through it. And if they are refusing to even go down on the price of the casket, guess what we can do? We can take your funds from your funeral. No, they don't even have to go. We'll get that. We'll get that casket there the very next day for the discounted prices. And a lot of people don't know that funeral homes cannot refuse any outside goods of services. It's against the law. The only thing the funeral home have to do, we have to allow them to do, is embalm. Any other services, we can get those outside of the funeral home, but people don't know that because the funeral homes will never let you know that. That's what we're here for, to make sure we put that in place so these funeral homes don't take advantage of the families during that time.
Yeah, that is an awesome service, because a lot of times when a loved one has passed, you're very emotional and you may not be thinking clearly. But here you have this other person who has walked with your loved one previous to death and say, hey, this is what I want. And then because I had another question, because we know a funeral, let's say a funeral costs, I don't know, $12,000 today. But when someone passes 40 years from now, inflation, what have you. So is it best to get a policy that accommodates for that inflation, or how does Lincoln help with that as well? Or, I mean, you tell me how that works.
Right. So you can get a policy that will accommodate for some inflation,
Gotcha.
but I say what you should do is actually get a policy that's within your budget, because a lot of people may want $10,000, but you may be 70 years old and you may can only afford $5,000 right now, right? And that's where a lot of people, they have I think there's a conflict of interest there, because they was like, well, I know I need $10,000, but $10,000 for you at age 75 may be $100. But what you do is, because now you don't have anything. So if you die today or tomorrow with nothing in place, then your family is going to have to come up with an additional, the $10,000. A lot of us don't have that kind of money just laying around, and funeral homes want their money. I got somebody right now who just died 2 weeks ago. Their funeral can't be until the 30th because their family is trying to raise the money for their funeral. But imagine if you only got the $5,000 that you could afford. Would you rather for your family to start with $5,000 or start at zero? You get what I'm saying? Plus, you also have a program that can also reduce the cost of that $10,000 funeral. That would come with the policy where your funeral your family may only need to come up with a $1,500 because you got $5,000 already in place.
Right. Yeah.
So, and to answer your question, I say, even though you may want to put in place for the inflation, your budget may not allow you to do that right now. But the good thing about it is that, like Tenesha was saying, when your budget does allow it, you can increase it at any time.
Right. This is good.
So I say start where you feel the most comfortable with your budget, because if you cannot keep it in place, then you're going to be left with the same problem. And the problem is right now, either you don't have any insurance in place or you don't have enough. And if you can't afford to keep it in place, then you're still going to be left with the same problem. So that's why your budget is going to be the most important.
Yeah. Awesome. This is good. This is good. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome.
I think my final question, I'm looking at YouTube and Facebook. I don't see any questions. And this is just a question about insurance in general. If a lot of us, we have different things going on. So you have, the person who's 70, but then you have maybe the dad who is the sole provider for the family, or,
Mhm.
there's a 2-parent home. What factors should determine how much life insurance we get? If we can't afford it, let's just say if money was no, was okay, was no, I mean, it was, we're good on the funds. What should determine how much we need to get, I guess, insurance wise?
Right. And I'm still going to go back to the same thing, because regardless of money is not an issue, everybody is on a budget, whether
Yeah.
it's a big budget or small budget.
Yeah.
Find out what your budget is for your family. How much are you wanting to pay for insurance? And then let's start there. Because if you can afford the max, I would say get the max at any time, because you are the youngest you are today, and it's going to be the cheapest that it is today because of your age. So if you can get it locked in as much as you can locked in at a certain age, then what you do is you lock that in, and you don't have to worry about your price ever changing with whole life.
Right. That's good. That's
Mhm.
good. Well, this is awesome, y'all. I think do y'all have any final remarks? We don't have any questions yet, but I would like for you all to end as far as how people can contact you for their needs, their insurance needs, or funeral preparation needs. How can people contact you? I know I did put it in the chat, but if you could go ahead and say it, just in case somebody don't know how to click it.
She did it. Okay, so I'm gonna restate my my website for those of you who don't see it in the chat. It is funeraladvantageagent.com / my first name TENESHA dash my last name FELTON, and then another slash, and that'll take / I'm sorry, and that will take you straight to my website. You can request a free quote there, as well as you can fill out the form for me to be able to contact you back. Okay. All right. So once you request a free quote, that quote request will come straight to me, and I'll get in touch with you. The thing that I need you to do is make sure that you're putting your phone number on there, a good phone number for me to be able to reach you, okay? And a good address, an email address as well, all right? All right, and so now, and last, let me give you my direct number. For those of you who don't like to go on the website, my direct number is 205-238-0471. That is 205-238-0471, and you can call me there. That's my direct line, and I will definitely get back with you, okay?
Okay.
And make sure that I'm able to get you some great discounts, okay?
Okay. Sounds good. Oh, also, Tenesha, if people are, we have listeners that's listen in other states. If someone lives in Georgia, Florida, can they still contact you?
Okay. All right. So we work out of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Michigan. So any of those 4 states, we're able to service our clients.
Okay.
So to answer your question, we have not picked up Georgia yet. So so if they're within those 4 states, then we'll be able to help them. I'll be able to help them.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, this was so informative. Thank you everyone for watching. If you're watching via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, thank you, the My Sunday app, or either through our website. Thank you for watching. Listen, for your insurance purposes needs, your funeral needs, please contact Tenesha. I went ahead and replaced it on Facebook and on YouTube so that you can have that. Also, I put her phone number there so you can contact her. So listen, you can't beat it. No exams. The rate stays locked. And Tenesha is such a personable person. As you can tell, she is upfront and honest. She's in your face, and you may have to start with the she may have to say, now, baby, you can't do that one right now. Or she may help you work with your budget first and find some money to actually help to get you some funeral insurance. And so thank you for this, Tenesha. Everybody, we need to be prepared. Even, we need to get it for our children. You never know what may happen with them, spouses. And so it's just really important for us to be prepared just all the way around. So thank you for this. Ladies, don't forget, I'm just going to kind of talk about what's coming up. We have a virtual women's conference that's coming up in the month of October 21st. So please make plans to attend that virtually. We also have our November to Remember every Sunday in the month of November. Birmingham Bible Church is celebrating 9 years of service, of serving, of ministering to not only those in Birmingham, but around the world. And so we're going to celebrate with a guest pastor every Sunday. Please make sure you plan to either attend physically or attend virtually. Of course, we will see you next week. For Winning Wednesday, we have Margaret Ivory. Y'all don't want to miss that one. Y'all want to do some laughing, and she's going to be so funny, but she's going to really be so informative. But she's going to talk about Medicare, any changes that have came up. There have been some changes, and so she is our go-to person for Medicare. Because we getting prepared this month, y'all, getting prepared. And listen, once you have this funeral advantage, remember now, go back and listen to Martha last week. You can not only give this card to your funeral advantage card to your beneficiary, but listen, go ahead and put it in digitally, because if you like me, I will lose a card in a minute. And so that way, that card will also be placed in a digital document, and then your loved one can have that at their fingertips as well. So all this ties in together, y'all. Go back and listen to all of it. That's all we have today. So until next time, we will see you guys, of course, on Sunday for our in-service worship celebration. Any final remarks, Tenesha, Tara, TNT?
Well, my thing, my thoughts have always been that it is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That is a terrible position to be in.
Yes.
And when we don't plan correctly, like you have people like myself that come on and talk to you a lot about insurance, and it goes in one ear and out the other, and because we think we got time, okay? Right. But time is not on our side, and we need to make sure that our families are protected, okay? Protected. That's and right. This is my last thing. This is what Pam talked about. I get in your face. Here we go. Stop trying to get these $1 million policies when you only have $50 in your budget to go for a life insurance policy. Okay. Stop trying to do that. Start where you can start and build on it. Okay. And that's where I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Ms. Pam, to speak today.
Definitely. Thank you for coming on, both of y'all. And we look forward to, of course, working with you some more in the future. Thank you for watching, everyone. This is where we are every Wednesday at 12 noon Central Standard Time here to educate you, to empower you, and to enlighten you on things not only of God, but also things pertaining to our life and for our living. Until next time, we'll see you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tenesha and Tara.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.